got a yellow truck, road in front of us, and nothing but opportunities, right?
What's up, guys? How are you doing? This is Life Working English with Olga. On this channel, my students and you, my audience, choose the movies for learning. And the movie that you've picked recently got my attention big time. At the beginning, I've been thinking that, it's just the classical teenage drama about, high school students who just fall in love. But there is a great story behind it, and the story that made me look at the situation in lives from the totally different angle. The story that I didn't expect at all, that I gonna be overwhelmed so much in the end, that I actually would say that this is one of the best teenage movies I've ever seen. And plus, this movie, in addition to what I've said, it's not a big production movie that you would see on Netflix or maybe in the theater. It's a low-budget movie. Keith won first prize in every teenage festival in which it had competed, including the festivals in Italy, Germany, Sweden, and Canada. So this movie is based on the short story written by Ron Carlson.
First read the script, I fell in love with it, and it's very hard to put down. And it's just definitely had me on the edge of my seat. And it's a love-hate relationship, and that's what the story is about. It's about hope, it's about love, it's about hate, it's about deceit. In a very innocent way, he draws the audience in just by watching his life and what's going on.
The story really touched me because it wasn't overly sentimental, and it wasn't overly sappy and saccharine and hitting you over the head with the emotional side of what was happening. And it played everything very real, very much the way that people would be he would be in denial.
It has great vocabulary, American English phrases, expressions, and vocabulary in general that is worth learning and using in your everyday English practice. At the beginning of the movie, we see Natalie on the back of the truck that is moving towards the edge of the cliff and is about to fall. And she's lying there totally relaxed. It got me wondered, what's the point? So Natalie is a very popular, beautiful student. She is the tennis player, and she's doing great at school, being one of the top students there.
Been thinking about what you said about that concrete goal.
Lay it on me.
It's a girl.
Cool.
So he's playing billiards, yes, with a man. So far we have no clue who he is, and he's talking about the advice that this man had given him about his concrete goal. Concrete is something that you succeed until the end. Yeah, so you don't stop in the middle. You don't get satisfied if it's done only if it's only partially done. We understand from the context that he is asking him, yeah, tell me about your goal. But why he is not saying, tell me, yes, or spill it out, or I'm all ears. He's saying exactly, lay it on.
Lay something on someone. A slang phrase means to present a plan or an idea to someone.
Tell me about your plans. Tell me something that I still don't know.
I'm gonna have fun with her.
Fun. What's that mean?
So we have the chemistry class. Natalie is paired with Keith.
You need to relax.
Actually, I need to learn this.
Because why?
Because you have to get a 4 on your AP exam if you want to get a college credit, in case you didn't know.
Then you'll be ahead of the game, right?
Be ahead of the game. An idiom means to gain and obtain an advantage in a situation and complete the task before the deadline.
To know everything about the subject or about the matter.
Well, Mr. Miles, this is AP.
Keith is actually pretty sharp when he applies himself.
We know that if, for example, a knife is very sharp, yeah, so it cuts something really easily. So when we talk about the person, we mean that this person is really intelligent. He learns really quick.
Sharp, level B2, means to be smart, learn fast, also means to speak or act in a severe or angry way that hurt other people.
He is sharp when he applies himself. Apply meaning to work hard at something, when he is actually really into it.
Apply yourself, expression, level C2. If you apply yourself to something, you work hard at it, directing your abilities and efforts in a determined way so that you succeed.
Okay. But we kind of...
Lab chemistry?
Yeah.
What is this joke about? There is an expression in the English language. To have chemistry between people is kind of like develop feelings between people. Actually, even from the very beginning, from the first moment you met. Lacking means not having something. So he's making a joke kind of like, so there is no any feelings between you, no attachments, anything.
About this Natalie Anderson thing. Yes. Walter, she's a complete anal compulsive control freak. How do you expect me to work with that?
And obviously Keith is doing that to get her attention.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll whip her into shape.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Who do you think I am?
Whip something or somebody into shape, idiom, to take action to get something or someone into a good condition, to make it better.
Presenting himself that he's much better, smarter, more clever than she is.
Where did you apply?
Nowhere.
So what are you doing after graduation?
The sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit. It's actually also an idiom, an easy idiom to learn, which means there is no limit. I would do anything I want.
Why are you taking an AP class?
Thought you had me pegged.
Advanced placement in what?
So she continues asking questions and he doesn't have any answers to them anymore. So he's kind of like, I thought you have me pegged. So to peg someone as something, meaning to understand what the person is.
Have someone pegged, idiom, to understand completely the way someone is or who they are.
I'm sure there's a very simple explanation.
Of course there is, Natalie, and you're not going to stop until you figure it out.
That sounds like a challenge. You're on.
So this day, Natalie goes to a party. Usually they hang out at the bank of the river with a fire, and we see Keith, but on the opposite side of the river. And the moment when Raphael and Natalie gets closer, he left straight away.
Great choice, that Raphael. Brainy stud, perfect guy, can't go wrong.
You were at the brick.
No.
Keith is showing her a little bit of an attitude, and he's calling Raphael a brainy stud. So this is someone who is really attractive, smart, and a sexy person.
What about the lab report?
Hop in. You think our check is ready? I know, Pumpkin Loaf, I'm pissed off too. The nerve.
Natalie didn't like it from the very beginning, but then this game kind of like got into her and she started playing with him and actually surprised him how good she is, and she's actually funny, and they actually have chemistry. They continue these, playing roles.
Are you gonna punish me for this?
I might have to.
And Keith starting a punishing scene, which turned into a great conversation between them and actually made me laugh.
Keith, you've been a bad boy. Now you gotta pay the price. Do you mind?
So we usually ask this question when we don't like what other people do or what other people say, and you are getting irritated with it and annoyed, and you're like, do you mind? I'm actually doing something here.
You really want to base a relationship with a great guy like Raph on lies and deceit? Why don't you just tell him the truth? You're spending a couple hours with your lab partner.
So what is the difference between these words, lie and deceit? Because deceit also means lying, but deceit has kind of like wider meaning, the bigger meaning, because lie is just not to tell the truth, as simple as that, yes? And deceit is kind of like create stories behind to cover the truth.
Deceit. An act of keeping the truth hidden, especially to take an advantage of it.
First things first.
So, this truck is... it's like your thing.
Yeah, it's my thing.
First things first. Idiom. To do something or deal with something that is more important than anything else.
He has a crush on you.
He has a crush on his truck.
Well, whatever, just don't encourage him.
I don't.
Have a crush on someone. Level C2. To be in love with someone but not have a relationship with them.
Natalie.
Hi, I'm Al.
They got all these monsters and battling and clashing.
Oh, good. I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'll kick your ass.
So she starts guessing that he is actually a really good guy. He's taking care of this kid.
I'll talk to you, Keith.
Hang in there, Al.
Hang in there. Hang on in there. Idiom. Is used to tell someone to encourage him to keep trying and not to give up despite difficulties.
It got Natalie wondered. Like, he didn't say it just out of nowhere.
Billy's what, like hyperactive or something? So you're his counselor or tutor, something like that?
They start driving. She picks the road and got him totally surprised because this is his place. It's his spot.
I found your place.
I don't know how you did. Chances are probably 1 in a billion.
Stranger things have happened, right?
Keith realized that this is it, and he shows it to her by kissing her. They are at his favorite spot, and she's actually asking him about his future, and he reveals that he would like to go to London.
Not that London. London, Ontario. There's a classic truck show there every year in July.
So you really are a truck geek.
So geek has two meanings. It's either the person who is intelligent but not really fashionable or not really popular. And another meaning is someone who is very interested in some particular subject and knows about the subject a lot. So obviously he knows a lot about drugs, and at the same time he is not really fashionable and he is not popular.
You see, I open up to you and you dump on me.
No, just because I know you have dreams. More than a truck show.
So here Keith is using a great expression to dump on someone, meaning like, you see, I open up to you and you start criticizing me.
Dump on someone. A phrase. Means. To treat someone in an unfair way, especially by criticizing or blaming them for something.
Sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, actually it is.
You sure?
I'm sure you sell yourself short.
Sell yourself short. Idiom. Not to consider yourself to be as valuable or good as you deserve.
You do not consider yourself to be good for something better, but you are.
Are we moving? We are moving.
The truck starts moving slowly towards the edge of the cliff, exactly the same way as we've seen at the beginning of the movie. And Natalie is freaking out, you know, she's trying to stop the truck. But Keith remains calm. He's not moving, he's not doing anything, he's kind of like even enjoying the scene. Until the last moment, he gets up and actually puts the brakes, yes, and stops the truck.
Did you want to go over?
I wasn't even close.
Yes, you were.
You don't know what close is.
Don't give me one of your stupid lines.
It didn't happen accidentally. So he wanted to show her something.
Take care of yourself, okay?
So she happens to leave the car wearing his jacket, and she finds the bottle with pills and his name on the bottle. So obviously she goes home and Googles. Keith is not coming to school anymore.
I knew this was a bad idea.
What?
Partnering you guys.
But it was random.
Random, level C1, happening, done, or chosen by chance rather than according to a plan.
He chose me? Keith chose me?
I'll make sure he gets your notes.
So she cannot stop thinking about him and about all the situation. She has another fight with Raphael because Raphael gets really suspicious.
You have plans with Keith?
Where did that come from?
Well, do you?
So this question, where is this coming from? Please do not confuse with the question, where are you coming from?
No, see, where something or someone is coming from. Idiom, when you're talking about something. I see where it is coming from. You understand the reason of it or what has caused it. When you're talking about somebody, I see where you are coming from. You understand why someone has a particular opinion, ideas, intentions, or feelings.
So she breaks into his locker to find out exactly where he lives. And we see that he lives on Carlson Road. So I believe actually it's the dedication to Ron Carlson, who is the author of the story.
It just seems pointless. But when I'm with you, it's different. I don't know why.
He realizes at this moment that she still doesn't know the truth. And everything that she feels, he feels the same way. On the way back home, they look like a happy couple, which Keith breaks straight away.
You know, I'm not really one for the whole attachment thing anyway.
Shut up.
You got Raph. Raph's a good guy. Let's just forget about it.
Natalie left heartbroken. She's furiously driving the car and she notices the guy whom she met when they were at the road and the little boy. So she stops by and asks him questions about that little boy and how this person knows Keith.
How did Keith know him?
Well, they were in chemo together.
How sick is he? Tell me.
So this is the moment when I actually stopped the movie. Everything that Keith has been doing has the reason. Every phrase he said about sky is the limit, that he's not going to any college, that he has the academic potential, but he spends his life for what he likes because his life is very short. And everything got into its place, especially the scene when the car was moving towards the edge of the cliff. And when Keith said that I wasn't even close, like at that moment, I still had a chance to stop the car. But in real life, while being this drastically sick, it means you don't have a choice.
What the hell were you thinking? Why were you giving up that little piece of shit?
Stop it! You know, I only hope good things for you. Because really bad shit happens to people.
Give up to someone. A phrase. To let yourself feel or show an emotion that you would not normally feel or show.
The end of chemistry as we know it.
You're such a goddamn glib little actor. As far as I'm concerned, this is a really chicken shit goodbye.
By the word glib, she made him understood that she knows.
Glib. To be easy and confident in speech, but without careful thought or honesty.
Don't worry, Walter. She was addressing her remarks to me.
Now he knows that she knows.
At least it wasn't about sympathy for the sick kid.
That's not fair.
At this rate, I won't even make it to London, Ontario. Is that fair?
And this was another sad moment that made me stop the movie and think about his words. At this rate, this expression means if the things continue going the same way.
You were so amazing. And I... What?
He liked her from the beginning, but he just wanted to make her miserable. He wanted to ruin her life because his life was ruined. But then, when he happened to know her, he fell in love.
I just wanted a little more time.
This moment, believe me, I just started crying. I couldn't hold it anymore, you know. So it is so sad to hear things like that. It's the reality, you know. It's not the fiction. It's not a fairy tale. It's the real story that happens to a lot of people who have cancer.
So all in all, I'd say you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Goodbye, partner.
And she goes to London, Ontario for the truck show and makes his dream come true. Thank you for being with me here until the very end, and see you very soon with the next video.